Wednesdays. Welcome to Going Around Buzz podcast with Chris, Damon, and Sal. What's up, Sal?
Oh, man. Nice to see a smile, Damon, right?
Yeah, because the Rams played Green Bay and played conservative and lost.
Yeah.
There's nothing to smile about. They lost on Monday night, 24-12. And I think they just knew right away when they came in there. It was cold. It was snowy. You know, I don't see the Rams play with. They didn't play with much. You know what I'm saying? Much spark to me against Green Bay.
Yeah, but a lot of fans were gonna, Baker Mayfield. He set the standard so high against the Raiders that a lot of fans thought he was gonna play at that level every game, and that just doesn't happen in the NFL. Also, the Rams have always struggled in Green Bay. Even when the Rams were a lot better team. But they did some good things. That game was actually. It was a winnable game if we would have caught a couple of breaks, but of course that didn't happen. And once Aaron Rodgers gets going, it's over, lights out.
Now that game, the Rams lost, but then they played on Christmas Day. It was 51-14. Sal, they played so well. The Broncos fired their coach.
Not to mention, look how many skirmishes there was on the sidelines. You see that? Yeah. They were unraveling, and at SoFi Stadium, the Rams that was like the nail in the coffin for the team and for the coach. Yeah.
I got 2 words. Let's ride.
Yeah. So Russell Wilson wasn't cooking, but Baker Mayfield was baking though.
He had an 80% completion rate, Sal.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
The Rams scored, I believe, on the first 5 drives.
Yeah.
5 out of 8.
A punter, didn't even punt that day.
He had a day off.
Yeah, he
was opening Christmas presents on the sidelines.
Yeah, he didn't even have to warm up. That was amazing. And it was great because, for the Ram fans, Baker Mayfield, put a smile on, the face of many Ram fans.
Yeah.
And he gets you excited for the future. So some of the players, Cam Akers played well.
Cam Akers had a career game, man. He went off.
Yeah, he did.
He was playing for his paycheck that game, man. I didn't recognize the guy. I was like, is that a new running back? Who is this dude?
Yeah, another guy who's playing unbelievable, is Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner.
Bobby Wagner, he's been playing amazing these probably the last 5-6 games, and now it's finally becoming more obvious.
He's a true definition of a professional because he could have melded in and stopped playing, but him and Jalen Ramsey are playing and keep on playing with nothing to win, nothing to play for, but you know what they're playing for? Pride. You know what I'm saying? Because this is their careers. They're still playing for something, for that pride, and it's good to see, refreshing to see. Russell Westbrook. I feel like saying Russell Westbrook because the way him and Russell Wilson are the same person to me sometimes.
Yeah, the bars were set high for both those players.
Russell Wilson threw 2 interceptions. He just doesn't look good in the offense, man. Now you see why they fired Hackett, because Hackett came in and probably thought he was going to get Aaron Rodgers, and they got Russell Wilson. They just didn't mesh like water.
Yeah, they never clicked, right?
Yeah.
But the Rams would have beaten anybody yesterday, right? The way they were playing at that level, it was just amazing to see. And Baker Mayfield really brought that offensive spark that the Rams have been, lacking for, most of the season. So that was nice to see him.
And didn't Denver have the number 1 pass?
Yeah, pass defense, right? Yeah.
They're getting destroyed. 2 rookies played well yesterday. Kobe Durant, as well as excuse me for this.
Well, he's impressive though.
Kobe Durant and Larrell Murchison.
Yeah.
Kobe Durant had an 86-yard picks, 85 or 86-yard picks. Yeah. He was ripping.
God, how long has it been since we've seen that, right?
Is that the first defensive touchdown for the Rams all year?
Yeah, all season, yeah.
Jalen Ramsey had an interception. Everybody had an interception. Bobby Wagner had one, I believe. Jalen Ramsey, and then the pick 6 by Kobe Durant.
Yeah, that was beautiful play by Bobby Wagner, picking off Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I was hoping to score a touchdown.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, too.
Does Bobby Wagner have 2 interceptions this year? Because he had one against.
He does have, he does have twice.
He's
intercepted twice. Yeah.
The Rams scored 50 points again. Last time they scored 50 points, I believe, was 2018, 54-51 against the Chiefs when they won that Monday night Monday night shootout. And then they beat they're St. Louis, so they beat the Raiders 52-0.
52-0. I remember that game. Yeah.
Yeah. They said the Rams have the most 50-point games in NFL history, which is that 16 or 17, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's 17.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That's a lot. That's a lot of points, right?
Points, man.
The Rams, even in the 50s, the Rams offense was pretty explosive. You know, the Rams were one of the first teams to actually advance. You know, most teams were just running the football. The Rams came up with, you know, passing the football, and you know they had great receivers and Crazy Legs Hirsch and Tom Fears and.
This is the most points scored on Christmas Day. Well, how many games have they played? How many times they played on Christmas? How many times they played? Did they play Christmas Day games in the same?
Not that I remember. No.
So of course, the only Christmas Day game. I mean, they only had 3 or 4, but you know the Rams scored the most, and they destroyed.
But they made the best of, you know, they definitely made the best of the opportunity for the fans. But it was so nice to see, you know, the fans excited at SoFi Stadium.
Man, it was amazing. It was just, I was just like, just scoring points, and I was just like, man, like I was like, I want to see 50 points. Like, I mean, when they scored 40, I was like, I want to see 50. I'm not leaving. I want to see 50. I'm here to see 50 points, and they got that TD. I was like, yes, 50 points. Like, it's just something just to see on the scoreboard 50 points.
Anytime 50 points is impressive, you know, and it was great to see the, you know, to hear in the press conference after. Post game where, you know, Baker Mayfield, he's quick to give the offensive line, you know, their credit and stuff, which is nice. They've been struggling the whole season, so it's nice to see them get a little bit of love. You know, they've been, you know, protecting them pretty well.
Now, do you think Russell Wilson getting replaced by Brett Rippon is a big deal? Because they're getting blown out. They're not going to come back. Of course, you're going to replace a star because you want to get hurt. There's 2 games left. He has a big contract. So do you think it's a big story, him getting replaced at all by Brent Rippon? I don't at all. I just think it's, hey, like you're down by 40 points, 2 minutes, like 10 minutes, like come on, like let's be real. Like,
well, I think every coach kind of, you know, everyone, they approach it differently. Like for the Rams, you know, people were asking, like with the Rams blowing them out, why do you still have Ramsey, some of the starters in? But a lot of teams wait until the opposing team starts giving out. Once they start replacing their players, then the Rams will start substituting also. So. But I think for Russell Wilson, the kind of season he had, it definitely wasn't going his way. But I think that I probably would have at least let him finish the game. Maybe, you know, had a couple of plays. But so it's up to the coach. But I think it's kind of, you know, some players take it as disrespectful when you take them out. You know, they pretty much want to take themselves out when they feel it's time. But he's such a competitor. You know, he could have gotten hurt. They weren't protecting him. The Rams
had 6 sacks.
Yeah, the Rams were all over him.
Who's that guy the Rams just picked up? He had like 3 sacks. What's his name?
Yeah, Murchison.
Yeah, that's the guy Murchison. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
he was going off.
Yeah,
like he was hungry. He was like,
yeah, he had I think 4 solo tackles.
He said, "This is easy."
Yeah, 2 sacks. Yeah, that's what he said. That, you know, they were kidding. They're like, yeah, you know, call the family and start looking for homes, because if you can rush the passer, you're going to find a job. You know, and then you look at him and you're thinking, man, you know, if Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Donald was there.
Yeah. Oh.
You're thinking Aaron Donald, you know, Hoyt's coming on strong too. Michael
Aaron
Hoyt
Donald was there because Aaron Donald has the most sacks against Russell
Yeah,
Wilson.
and that's what I'm saying. Both of them together to be able to get their play. He's pretty much like, I think he's like 6'2", you know, close to 300 pounds. So him and Donald pretty much built the same. And if you could get that kind of pressure from the interior, you know, part of the line, it would be pretty nice.
Now the Rams' next opponent, the Renters, the Chargers.
Oh yeah.
How do you think that game? Because listen, if the Chargers are in the playoff hunt, they're, I believe, the 6th seed. They have a game against the Colts, and it'd be crazy if they lose to the Colts. Whatever goes on with the Colts, and if they have to beat the Rams to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're not resting those starters.
What
do you think about how you think that game's gonna play? I think hopefully it's a shootout. I want to see a high scoring game. I want to see like last game at SoFi between 2 hopefully high powered teams. The Rams scored 51. The Chargers are always trying to score a lot of points with their firepower. Hopefully the Rams win like 42 to like 28. That'd be a great way.
Yeah, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a shootout because you know, Baker Mayfield's starting to get into that stride now. Now he's able to, you know, pretty much run a lot of plays that, you know, he's able to open up the playbook now, and you know, the connection he has with Tutu Atwell again. That's amazing to watch. You know, I love to see Tutu, you know, be able to finally, you know, show why the Rams drafted him and his value. And so that's another advantage for the Rams. I mean, you never like to lose, but when you do lose, it's nice to get a look at some of the young talent.
Yeah.
And when you see these players coming in, Durant and I mean, he's still, even McCutcheon, we haven't got, you know, a lot of look-see with him, but you see the development of Tutu. He's playing so well, you know, why not let him see what you got in him?
It kind of reminds me of basketball terms, because a point guard, you know, you have your scorer that you're passing the ball to, is going to score the points. Another point guard comes in, the major point guard, Maynard, gets hurt. Baker Mayfield's like dishing out to everybody. Tutu Atwell, Higbee, you get the ball. He's throwing out to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Giving everybody a fair opportunity. When Stafford was there, he keyed on Cooper Kupp a lot.
He did.
Because he has a connection with him. Baker Mayfield doesn't have a connection with anybody, so he's like, whoever can catch the ball, whoever gets up, that's what I'm throwing to, which now we're seeing, like you mentioned, Tutu Atwell getting open. Higbee catching a lot of balls. A lot of players catching balls and creating opportunities for themselves, which I enjoy watching.
Yeah, and that's a great point because also, he spreads the ball around, and that's always difficult. You saw with, even with a young tight end and Bryson, he came in and had, made some big plays. He's a big target for the Rams, so you still have, Tyler Higbee becoming the Rams' all-time leading tight end in
already
categories. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of tight ends.
It's not Pete Holohan.
yeah, right. You look at the tight ends over the year. Bob Klein. You had a lot of tight ends. Ernie Conwell. You had a lot of talent. Roland Williams. You had a lot of tight ends for the Rams that were all productive. But for a Higbee, he's been there a little bit longer. But for him, some of the things he was able to do. You saw yesterday. He was just dominating. He was unstoppable. And so it's nice to see that, because the Rams offense really does rely a lot on the tight end, doing well.
Yeah, so hopefully against the Chargers, they beat that butt.
Yeah.
King of SoFi Stadium.
I want to keep
bragging rights.
Yeah,
I'll be at that game too, so.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see Baker Mayfield stay undefeated at SoFi.
Yeah.
Right? It would be nice, especially to knock the Chargers off, to be, the team to play. At least you could play spoiler. And, keep them out of the playoffs, too. So if we don't go, they don't go. So
look at these past weekend games. The Jaguars beat the Jets 19-3, Sal. The Jaguars are about to make the playoffs. They're leading the AFC South, Sal?
Yeah. How impressive is that, though, right? You
After
look at
last year?
Yeah. But Peterson came in, and the connection that he had with Trevor Lawrence is pretty impressive. I've always been a fan of Trevor Lawrence. I knew he was a winner, and I'm happy to see them, doing well and playing well.
See how key the right coaching is? Urban Meyer didn't know what the hell he was doing.
No.
But Doug Peterson played in the NFL, played quarterback in the NFL, was a backup in the NFL. So people are going to respect him. He won the Super Bowl as a coach with the Eagles. So he comes in, cleans house. They respect him. But they're going to win the division now? Really? Jacksonville Jaguars?
I know. That's hard to take.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing, though. But I'm happy for him because I thought that, he was a great Eagles coach, too. Yeah. And I thought the way it ended was kind of weak, but I'm glad that he landed on his feet and was able to develop, Trevor Lawrence into the quarterback that, they thought they were getting when they drafted him early. So it's kind of cool to see that.
My AFC choice to make the Super Bowl, the Chiefs, beat the Seahawks 24-10. We knew that was, come on now. Patrick Mahomes, another walk in the park. I never thought Seahawks were going to be a threat to them. So
no, Seahawks are starting to become, the team that everybody kind of thought they were. They had some success, but the NFL, it's hard to win week in and week out, and the Niners are just running away with that NFC West division, which is tough to take, but they're a solid team.
Yeah.
You got to give them credit, yeah.
The Panthers beat the Lions, stopped their winning streak. They win 37-23. I think the Panthers are a game behind Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so they play each other coming up. Whoever wins that, they win the division.
You know what's interesting about that game was the Lions were hot, right? But I was kind of surprised when Jared Goff was talking about the field conditions. Did you read about that?
No, I didn't. What happened in Carolina?
Yeah. He was saying that it was, subpar for the NFL to have that type of conditions. I've never heard a quarterback talk about the condition of a football field that, I don't know if it was, they competed, but, the Lions were hot. They should have been able to beat Carolina, but, this is the NFL. Anything can happen on any given Sunday, which is why we watch,
The game of the week, the Cowboys beat the Eagles 40-34. Gardner Minshew, the backup quarterback for the Eagles, kept them in the game. They lose to the Cowboys, but it was a good, thrilling game. Yeah. Good victory.
He did a great job. They competed. I watched that game. It was a high scoring game. But he belongs, definitely. Minshew, it wasn't much of a drop off at quarterback. But a lot of times these quarterbacks, they can compete, but when the game is on the line, you got to be able to, like you saw Tua yesterday. He battled, but when you need those big throws, and he just didn't deliver, and now he's in a concussion protocol, I believe.
Speaking of Tua, they lost 4 in a row after starting off so hot. Now their season may be on the brink of missing the playoffs because, like you said, concussion protocol. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. You don't need to play him because it's his 3rd concussion, Sal. Do not bring him back.
3 in 1 season. Yeah. You got to do what's best for him.
He's
and for his future.
They're beating the Green Bay Packers. They're winning, and then he start throwing 3 interceptions, and they lose the game, and it's like. So it's like the Jets fell off. The Dolphins are falling off.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills are running with
That's what's so amazing, though, because you saw when Baker Mayfield, when he was released, right? And the Rams were the only team that put in a claim for Baker Mayfield. And then you see Baker Mayfield play for the Rams. I know but he's better than how many starting quarterbacks that are out there, right? And the Rams were the only one that claimed him. I mean, either McVay's a genius again or the NFL doesn't know how to evaluate talent. But Baker Mayfield was definitely worth, trying to sign. So that's interesting for me.
The Steelers beat the Raiders 13-10 on Franco Harris' retirement night, as well as his recent passing. It was an emotional game for the Steelers, for them to hold on.
Yeah, I was kind of going for Pittsburgh in that game because it's a good way to honor, Franco Harris. It's amazing the impact. I remember as a kid, you didn't even have to be a Steeler fan, but there's certain players, Jack Youngblood, certain players that played around that era that were just, even if it wasn't your team, they helped, build the NFL to what it is today.
And they said the Steelers they haven't retired a lot of numbers. They only retired, I think, Mean Joe Green, Franco Harris, and somebody else, but they haven't retired Terry Bradshaw, Lynn Swann, John Stallworth, like Jack Lambert. I'm like, what? These are like Hall of Famers. They haven't retired the numbers. I don't get that.
I think some teams should really look into that. Like even for the Rams, I mean, number 18, I think Roman Gabriel should be in the Hall of Fame, and number 18 should be retired.
Because
same thing with Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
Kurt Warner, I think,
13.
Number 13, I think it's kind of sad seeing that number still be worn. And then, of course, Dickerson. But sometimes you retire numbers, and then other times teams just don't issue those numbers.
Dallas Cowboys don't retire 88. They give it to, like, the playmakers.
Yeah.
Because Drew Pearson, Michael Irvin, the player now, CeeDee Lamb, and the player before that, Des Bryant, they don't retire 88, so they don't have retired like numbers.
Yeah, but to wear that number, for the Cowboys, you definitely have to be a special player, and a lot of responsibility comes with wearing that number. And the Cowboys have been pretty fortunate that they've all played pretty well, wearing that number.
Let's talk about the Week 17 games coming up. Cowboys and Titans. Titans fight for their playoff lives. Their quarterback is out for the year. They got Willis, I believe his name is.
Malik.
Malik Willis, rookie quarterback. Derrick Henry not looking good, and they lost a lot in a row, and then that's how Jacksonville caught him. So if they lose, they're out. If they lose, they're out, man.
Yeah, it's almost like for some of these teams, it's like a tale of two teams, right? Yes. I mean, they start off fast, and they make a lot of progress, and everyone's talking about them in the Super Bowl, and then now the second half, they're starting to kind of suffer injuries and also, becoming a team that is just, they're good, but they're not Super Bowl bound.
We got the Dolphins and the Patriots. Whoever loses that game's done.
I would probably, in that game, I mean.
Who do you think is going to get that game?
I would probably go with the Patriots without, depending on what happens with Tua, but I think the Patriots, they're a pretty decent team.
The Saints and the Eagles. If the Eagles win, they're going to win the division. I don't know if Jalen Hurts is going to play or not. The Saints are still in that division. Still,
Saints somehow they won't go away. They won't go away. I keep thinking that they're going to just collapse, but they don't.
I look at the records. I'm like, wait, they're only a game behind everybody. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these records this year are just. They're hard to understand. I mean, you think a team's gone and they're still hanging around.
And you know what's funny? If Tampa Bay Saints or Carolina win the division. Mm-hmm. The 5th seed, they'll have the 4th seed. The 5th seed would play them in their stadium. So Tampa Bay makes it. Dallas is the 5th seed. Dallas would travel to play Tampa Bay, and perhaps lose in that hot weather. Yeah. You never know what can happen. Dallas is probably like, I don't want to play Tom Brady. I want to play Minnesota. Exactly. We got Panthers and Bucks. The winner of that game may win the division. I think that, or if the Bucks win, they win the division. Panthers win. I think it's just a tie for the division lead. But what do you think?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting also. But I think that. I'd probably go with the Bucks.
And then this game coming up, I call it the Alphabet Police game. Mm-hmm. Niners and Raiders. The reason I call that the Alphabet, you're going to have the DEA, FBI, CIA, Police, ATF, because Raider fans and Niner fans in the Bay. Oh, man. I'm not trying to wish ill on anybody, but I call it the Alphabet Police game.
Boy, there was always those two teams never really cared for each other, and the fan bases were always
because they used to be, they used to be Oakland and San Francisco, but now it's Las Vegas and San Francisco, but still they have and they played in the Bay, so it's like
Yeah, I think that that'll be an interesting game, but the Niners are on a roll right now, though. Yeah, they're really tough to beat right now. I hate to say it. Yeah,
I'm going to say it again. The Niners are the best team in the NFL. I don't care about what the record says. I'm saying the Niners are the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, but as we watch him play, you keep waiting for Purdy to make a mistake, and that guy doesn't make mistakes.
Sal, we never heard of this guy till he's Mr. Irrelevant. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it reminds me of somebody in 2001 season. Who am I talking about, Sal?
Kurt Warner?
No, somebody named Tom Brady that nobody paid attention to. 6th-round pick, nobody paid attention to him.
Oh,
Drew Bledsoe gets hurt. This guy, Tom Brady, comes in. Oh, yeah, whatever. He's going to lose. He's going to lose. Then went on a winning streak, Sal. And they maybe lost one game along the way and then went to the playoffs.
Yeah. Because I think that when you look at like the 99 Rams with Kurt Warner, that was one of the biggest things, that someone coming out of nowhere. He was 28 at the time, but coming out of nowhere and leading a team. Purdy comes in. The team is built, it's a solid team. The quarterback position is was the only question mark. But for them to be doing it with their third string quarterback is unbelievable.
The whole year, beginning of the year, is going to be Jimmy G, Trey Lance. Jimmy G, Trey Lance. Trey Lance is going to play. Jimmy G is not going to. We don't even want him on the team. Jimmy G comes in, gets hurt. This guy Purdy is looking Purdy for the Niners, and their defense is unbelievable. I just keep on watching. I'm like, oh my god! Like I love the Rams, but if a team is great, I got to give them props. I cannot hate on a team if they're winning and keep on winning. And there's nothing I can say. I can't say. I got to go by with my eyes. And the best team I see, defense, and they're physical and they can beat up on anybody.
Yeah, they're built solid.
They're built physical.
The only good thing is that they're from the NFC West, right? That's the only thing I could,
Yeah, but I'm not.
And
if they make the Super Bowl, I'm not going to be rooting for them. I say they're going to play the Chiefs. I would never root for them to win the Super Bowl. But I'm giving them props right now. They are the best team in the NFL.
But and I remember when the Rams, when the Rams advanced to the Super Bowl, Niner fans that I've known and some fans that I didn't even know, they did, congratulate. They're like,
what? Win it. You're in the NFC
yeah, they're like, what, represent the NFC West and play well. Good luck. And it's hard because of the rivalry over the years and stuff. So. For the Niners, nothing's been given to them. They're earning whatever.
So you're telling me you root for the Niners in the Super Bowl?
I would never root for them.
Good job. Neither
I'll never root for them.
We're not going to root for the Niners in the Super Bowl.
No, I'm not crazy.
We're not doing that.
I would never root for them, but I give them their respect. They earned it, and they've always played well. But I would love to see, I want to see Purdy go up against like the Eagle defense or Cowboys defense, someone that applies a lot of pressure, and see, if he's able to.
And vice versa, because I want to see the Eagles, like Jalen Hurts, go up against, or whoever it may be, against the Niners defense. Niners defense number one. You got Bosa, you got the guy from USC, you got these dogs on their team, and them dogs want bones, and they're hungry.
Yeah, no, they're a tough team there. So I don't see a weakness in the 49ers. It'll be interesting.
A couple more games to talk about the Jets and the Seahawks. The Jets, I think Mike White's going to play because the team doesn't like Zach Wilson at all. The Seahawks they're going right in.
What a difference a couple of weeks make
from Wilson. Man, a couple of weeks, and Geno Smith is,
Yeah, I think he's becoming pretty much, backup quarterback again. He's not making those big throws that he was early in the season,
And then the highlight game, the Bills and the Bengals. Both teams coming in hot. The Bengals won like 7 in a row.
I would go with Bengals.
Ooh, over the Bills?
Yeah. I've been watching some of their games, and he's playing well.
If the Bengals win and the Bills lose and KC wins, KC takes the number 1 seed. And Buffalo wants a home playoff game really bad in Buffalo because they feel they can slow teams down, the weather. So.
But, sometimes teams peak too early, and I think Buffalo did that,
But they're hot right now. They won like.
They are, but, the Bengals look pretty impressive.
They won 7 in a row.
They're quietly, winning 7 games in a row.
Everybody's talking about them, so I can't wait to see. With that being said, another episode of Go Around Buzz podcast.
Yeah.
January 1st, see you at SoFi. The Rams and the Chargers, the Battle of SoFi. Whose house?
Rams' house.
See you at SoFi.
Yeah, go Rams. That was good. Perfect. Yeah.